You can have anything that you want. You just have to put in the graft for it. And that's the longest, hardest infantry training in the world. Becoming a sniper was like the tip of, fieldcraft. Everything that you learn as a soldier is just like the next level up. I did some undercover work trying to expose the illegal wildlife trade in Southeast Asia. I abseiled down the very last 80 meters, got to the bottom, world's biggest lava lake over there. If I spark out here, no one's coming to rescue me.
Welcome back to The Good, The Bad and The Beast. Today's guest is someone who's been a sniper for the Royal Marine Commandos. He has put himself out there in some super dangerous situations, from volcanoes to Narcos, and now working alongside Bear Grylls, Steve Backshall, and now he's got his own television series, and he's here with us today. Welcome to the podcast, Aldo Kane. How are we, sir?
Good, thanks for having us.
How are you doing?
Good. We were just chatting offline there about the lack of sleep you get from having two young kids.
Oh, fuck my life. I think, I've just come back from like a heavy 2 weeks in Malta filming TV series, and I come back and I said to everyone in the house, I'm going to have a lie-in tomorrow because I've got a very important podcast tomorrow. I'd like a little lie-in. And then at 6 a.m, my daughter comes in and slaps me across the face. So there we go.
There's a lie-in.
That's a lot. I mean, 6 a.m. is a lie-in. Probably a big lie-in for you.
Yeah. Gets that way.
Before we get going, mate, I like to ask my guests to bring in something I call a piece of the beast. And this could be something that means a lot to you, a photograph or an item.
Yeah.
Have you got
I have
said artifact or item with you?
I have. This is
Oh, okay.
the Green Beret of the Royal Marines.
So for those listening, and this is the Green Beret. It's one of those. How would you describe this? Like I would say, like one of the hats that.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially like
the sergeant hat.
Think of like the French sort of beret.
French beret.
Yeah,
that's how
exactly.
you describe it. Yeah. So it's a green French beret. So when did you get this?
So that basically, I joined the Royal Marines at the age of 16. And I passed for duty at the age of 17. So that's as young as you can get in. But that to me sort of symbolizes everything about what I do now. Everything that I've learned in the Royal Marines is long gone. Can't hit a barn door with a shotgun. Fitness is not as good as it was back then. And everything else, skill fade, anything over time fades. But what that meant to me at that time was that I, in hindsight, understood like goal setting principles, working hard, graft, resilience. And the Royal Marines have their commando spirit, which is courage, determination, unselfishness, cheerfulness in the face of adversity. They're kind of like the four underpinning values of the Royal Marines. But that beret symbolizes to me that like you can have anything that you want, you just have to put in the graft for it. That's the longest, hardest infantry training in the world to be able to get that and wear that. The first time I ever saw one was I was away with cadets up in some cadet camp, and the guy came in, Royal Marine pilot, came in, had his Green Beret in his hand. He put it down on the counter in the NAFI, which is like the sort of the spa shop of the military. And,
okay.
And I was like, what's that? Anyway, I asked him what it was, and he said, this is a beret of the Royal Marines. And like, I was only 12. And I asked to touch it, and he pulled it away, and he was like, you can't touch this, you have to earn it. And right at that point, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to earn that. So I spent the next probably 3.5, 4 years from 12-ish with a goal of joining the Royal Marines.
Wow. So seeing that Green Beret in a shop, in a spa, local supermarket, inspired you to join the Marines?
Yeah.
And at what age did you join the Royal Marines? 16?
16, yeah.
Okay.
So I actually signed the paperwork at 15 and 9 months, but obviously because you're still a kid, you're not allowed to physically go and do anything until you turn 16.
So this was your goal. This was your like
100%.
Focus.
Yeah.
And the second you could sign on that dotted line at 15 years and 9 months,
Yeah.
you did it and you were on it.
Yeah.
So what when did you actually start your training?
Well, I was about 16 and a half.
Okay.
So I signed on at 15 and 9 months. You have to go into the careers office, do some pull-ups and do some tests. And you go away and do a 3-day. They used to call it a potential recruit course, where you go and they call it a look at life course now, I think. So you basically go down and see what life's like at Lympstone, the Commando Training Centre. But you get beasted. You just go down there and it's a pass or fail, 3 days. They goose you on the assault course, all the rest of it. And then you pass or fail. 50 people will turn up, maybe 6, 8 will pass that part of it. And then they collect up all of those 3 people, 8 people that passed and stick them into one troop in training. And out of that troop that starts, I don't know what the figures are now, but back then it was roughly about 8 to 15 would pass and then get their green lid.
Yeah, wow. Did you do a drug testing as part of that, the entry for the Royal Marines? Do you remember?
I don't think I did. At 15, I probably didn't even know what drugs were. So it's probably I don't know if they do it now either. I would imagine it's quite a lengthy process of filling out forms, medicals. I had a problem because I had childhood asthma, which is mad. Like, I look back on it now and I feel like that's kind of laughable with everything that I've done. But, I literally remember not being able to walk the 100 metres from the back of my house in East Kilbride up in Scotland to the school because the asthma was that bad.
Wow.
And you need to be, apparently it's quite common, but you need to be like 5 years clear.
Yeah. So there's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So, which is mad. Like, I've never had anything since then. But anyway, I had to probably wait up until like 16 and 3 months or something. Before I got in.
So it's a bit of a funny story for you. So I actually joined. Went to join the Royal Marine Commandos at 16. Passed flying colours, okay? And I mean flying colours, like top and everything. And then I can't remember if it was a drugs test or they wrote to my doctor. I think it was the doctor one. And there was a cocaine hit on my record. And because of that, I wasn't allowed and told to reapply in X amount of time. So...
they have a zero tolerance across the board.
Yes, I know.
For pretty much everything. So it's, I think ultimately it'll probably come down to, I mean, I can see why they do it, but it comes down to if there's any issues when you're then in combat.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you don't want the man next to you high as a kite in charge of a 50 cal or a tank or a sniper, So I do appreciate it, but it was a very nearly would have, could have for myself. So that was a fun story. But the testing for that was quite interesting. From memory, it was pull-ups, press-ups, sit-ups, and a run.
Yeah, all the basics, burpees.
They
used to call it the USMC test. I don't know what they call it now, but it was like 5 or 6 disciplines you had to do. I think it was like a max of, like 85 push-ups, probably getting this wrong. 85 sit-ups, 50 or 60 push-ups, burpees, 40 odd in a minute.
Yeah.
Grid sprint test. But I literally, because I was so young, just scraped through absolutely everything.
Okay.
And I knew that.
Yeah.
My body was still growing, and I knew I didn't want to be like number one, going through training. I knew that was far off. I was 16 and I was in training with 50 other blokes that were all the way up to the age of 32.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the showers, you've barely got pubes and you know what to do with it, and you've got grown men in there that are on the, the third job sort of thing. So for me, it was like, I just, I'll get through it, but I'll never be the fittest, the strongest, the hardest.
Okay. I mean, for someone that suffered with asthma so badly to then pass the Royal Marines, that's a story in itself.
Yeah. This is the first time I've actually mentioned it. It was that long ago that I actually forgot. I've hardly ever talked about sort of training in that part of my life. So, but I mean, I literally couldn't move. Sometimes I wouldn't be able, like walking to school was so tricky.
I can imagine. So that conscious decision at around age 12 to get in the Marines, did you then start training at age 12 to get fit?
I went to the careers office when I was like 12 or 13. They obviously laughed.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, if you want to join,
You've got to be X,
this
Y,
is
and
what
Z.
you got to do. You got to do 10 pull-ups. So, like at that point, I knew what I had to do. So, at
So
that
you had
point,
4 years to.
yeah, it just knocks the fear out of any decision because you go, well, that's where I've got to go. This is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And then just start training. And it was literally like pull-ups, press-ups, and running. Running was obviously tricky with asthma.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have it all the time. It was only like certain times of the year I would get hit with it.
And how are you now with that?
Good. I've never had anything.
So it might have just been like a strengthening of the lungs as subsided.
Or maybe like allergy. We used to have about 20 cats in our house. So.
Oh, that might have been the problem, yeah.
Yeah.
Allergic to cats
Yeah,
and you've got 20
probably,
cats in the house. That could have been it. Jeez. Yeah, no, the Marines at 16 is a hell of a feat. And so I did exactly the same. Just out of curiosity, how many press-ups do you reckon you did?
I never maxed out on anything when I was doing those USMC tests. I could probably get 50 press ups at one time, but obviously I've got short arms and no body weight at that point. So I was probably getting 50. The ones I struggled with were pull ups. You had to do them on the old gym sort of wooden beams.
Yes, yeah.
So you've got like sort of that sort of thing. They're quite slippy.
So you can't even swing underneath it. You've got to pull.
It's a full,
it's a strict pull-up.
Strict pull-up. So you got to do. I think 18 was the max that you could do in that test at that time.
Yeah.
And I would get, max. I would be getting 12.
Yeah, but 10 was a pass.
10 was pass. Yeah.
That's cool. I remember when I did the testing, I did 112 press ups, and I remember the guy who was doing the testing was like, "Fuck my life." That is the record for all the Marines
I bet.
at the time. So yeah, that's my little claim to fame. beat the record at the Royal Marine Commandos for press ups. But that's insane. Like doing that at 16. So you would have got this handed to you at like 16 and a half.
17, because it takes 6 months-ish to go through the whole training program.
Yeah.
So you finish all your commando tests.
6 months to go through the training program.
30 weeks when I did it. I think it's 32 weeks or something now.
Fuck, and that's 30 weeks of constant batter, mental
You get a bit
torture.
of break at Christmas leave or wherever you start. You get
nice
sort of 10 days or whatever in between. But the thing for me that, I didn't have anything to base it on. World's hardest infantry training, Royal Marine Commandos, Britain's elite amphibious fighting force, blah, blah, blah. Like all I did before it was deliver papers and milk.
Yeah.
So when it got really shit, I was just like, well, this is what work is like.
Yes.
It's going to be shit.
So you knew no different.
No different.
You didn't know what a breezy job was. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd have worked in an office beforehand and then done that, you'd have been like, shit.
And the pay, like my pay was 200 quid a month. So if you imagine like, a guy who's 28, who's got 2 kids and he goes down to Livingston and he's on less than £1,000 or 800 quid a month.
Yeah.
Like that pressure alone
Yeah,
is enough to make people tap out.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think it's better now. I was down at Livingston a couple of weeks ago and all the pay has obviously gone up.
We've got all the minimum wage, human rights stuff now. So,
But it's like, at that point I was getting 200 quid a month in my hand.
Yeah.
And it was just hard physical graft. So I was kind of like, well, this is easy.
Well, you've been tested in all aspects there, not just the physical and mental, but the financial.
Yeah. I mean, for me, though, that was good because I was only getting paid 15 quid a week on a paper run.
So as to say, you wouldn't know any different.
Yeah, I was like, beer
it.
Tokens. Yeah.
You had all the food and accommodation, all that.
Was weird,
So it was 200 quid a week, just a bit of spending money.
Month, yeah. 200
quid a month, sorry. Talk us through that 32 week training program, because I've had a few pals that did it and none of them passed. They started that 30-week course, or the 32. Is it 32 weeks?
I think it's 32 now. They've got bits and pieces have been added on.
Yeah. So they started that course and every single one of them broke. Whether the knees gave out or they twisted an ankle or just mentally. I mean, one of my pals, I think I remember he said he pissed off the, what do you call it, the man in charge, the sergeant?
Yeah, I'll be your troop sergeant.
Yeah, so he pissed off the sergeant that much, he headbutted him. And then was chucked out.
Kicked out, yeah.
No, the sergeant headbutted him.
Oh. Yeah, that'll get him kicked out.
But he ended up getting kicked out as well as.
Yeah.
He must have done something really bad to this sergeant. So I know how hard that training is. But talk us through it.
Like the attrition rate is high. And I think at one point, the Royal Marines used a slogan, 99.99% need not apply or something like that.
Yeah.
And it kind of shot them in the foot a bit because everyone thought, actually, well, if it's that hard, I'm not going to do it. It's not unachievable. It's just very difficult and they've got a high standard. So I would say that with an average physical fitness, they build you up through it. But it's a lot of people turn up the fittest they've ever been for day one. And then they've got 30 weeks. So you're going to get injured. You're going to pick up injuries. You kind of need to be resilient, not mega fit when you turn up. You need a good baseline level. But like, I would say 90% of it is mental because none of it's set up to make you fail. In fact, the all military would love everyone who started it to finish it because it's expensive. But just the way of the beast, you get injured, you get people tapping out, family problems, missus missing them, people get homesick. And it's
pussy behavior.
it's like if you take someone who's never been away, then you stick him in a room full of probably 6 or 8 blokes at that time, and and you're doing an incredibly difficult thing, then it's very easy to get like pulled away.
Yeah, of course, but that's part of the training, isn't it? You can't be out at war thinking these things distracting you and pulling you back.
You need to be resilient.
Exactly.
And ultimately they're training you to go to war to fight. So in a way it needs to weed out those characters.
The pussies.
You basically just like anyone who's not up to the mark basically.
You've been too nice here. You've been too nice. It's to weed out the fucking pussies amongst the men.
You're basically getting rid of everyone that can't do the job.
Fair enough.
So basically it's 30 weeks. It's it's graded. You get tested on all your physical attributes. You get tested on your mental attributes. The Royal Marines are basically sort of dubbed the thinking man soldier. There's a lot of them that are degree educated. Obviously I wasn't.
What sort of physical demands was it on a daily basis? Was it walks? Was it press ups? What kind of things were they doing?
It was a long time ago now for me, but it was like non-stop. You might have in one day on camp 9, 10 kit changes. So you'd be going from IMF in the morning, which is Swedish PT, the old sort of
burpees, star jumps, So
you maybe go from that to weapon demonstration on the bottom field. You change into different kit, shower in between, into another kit. Then you're on a 9-mile speed march, and then you're on something else. So it's like the tempo of the day is pretty full on. And then your time in the evening. Back in my day, you got fucked around a lot, which was the character building part of it, like scraping polish off the floor, read all the sort of what you would class as sort of bullshit. And that's just wear you down, get you pissed off, get you tired. And then so that, the next day, all of these things just like add up. And then you'll do periods.
How much sleep are you having a night?
Not a lot.
And why is that? What time would you get up in the morning
You'd probably be up normal time, 5, 6, so not ridiculous.
Okay, between 5 and 6 a.m. I mean, that's horrendous to me. Up before the fucking worms.
Right. So like 5 or 6.
And what time would you go to?
Your actual day would finish at like 6.
Okay.
So scran.
Yeah.
You've still got another meal to get.
Yeah.
At 9:30 or 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock as they call it. So it's like another full sit down 3-course meal at 9. But it's just all of the stuff that you've got to do from the day. Cleaning all your shit, washing it all, ironing it, washing it by hand.
Yeah, so then in that free time, you've got to wash all your kit. And
so you're maybe not getting to bed till like 12, 1, depends what you've got on the next day, sorting kit out. So over the period of that 30 weeks, you're obviously very sleep deprived.
And that's the sort of regime every day. And is that Monday to Sunday? Like any days off? You don't get the weekends off, or
you don't get the weekends off to start, and you can't get out. And then as you get further into training, you can get
start getting a bit of
you
time.
start getting a bit of time back.
Okay.
And
So you get-
weekends, but I mean, you're literally just up to your eyeballs in kit.
Yeah.
So you're like sorting kit out for the next thing, the next exercise, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't stop.
And the 30-week trial, is that the test itself, or is there an end test?
So you basically get trained up as an infantry soldier to week 15, and then week 15 to week 30, as it was when I did it, was your commando training.
Yeah.
And that's, much more tactical stuff. You're in the field a lot. You're learning more on all the tactics of like how to do specific things. And then you go into final exercise, which is like a week long, full-on tactical exercise. So you're basically yomping around with full Bergens on, all the kit.
Well, how heavy are those backpacks?
Operationally, they can be anything, depending on how much sort of weapons and optics and stuff. But in training, I reckon they're probably, I'm guessing now, full Bergen, maybe 25 to 40 kilos, depending on what kit.
I mean, 40 kilos is a lot of weight to have on your back for what?
And
10-mile walks?
You're in that final X, you're probably yomping around for the entire week, getting into firefights, come back.
So you just weighed down the entire week and just pushed and pushed.
So you go through that, and then you do your commando tests, which are all of the, the Tarzan Assault course. All of those are pretty much pass or fail.
Yes. So talk me through those quickly, just so you get like an assault course you'd have to get through in a certain time.
Yeah.
Go through tunnels underwater.
Yeah. So
all
you've
that
got
kind of stuff.
the assault course, which is standalone, as you would imagine, commandos running around, jumping off things, 30-foot rope climb, full kit, webbing.
Wow. Okay.
Which is I struggled with that.
That's
actually.
fucking hard.
Yeah. It's a lot of it's technique, but like I had zero upper body strength. At 16.
It's all about using your feet, isn't it? That
feet and technique.
But with 40 kilo on your back, that would be fucking hard.
And then you do the 30-foot rope climb, assault course, fireman's carry, Tarzan assault course, which basically links the high Trinesium bit with the assault course, the endurance course, which you basically yomp up there in the morning, speed march up, and then you do the endurance course, which I can't remember how many miles it is. I'm going to guess like 6 miles, but it's all tunnels.
Oh wow, so 6 miles of
all the way back down to camp.
Fuck man.
Then you've still got to get like however many rounds out of however many on the target.
Yeah.
So you're fucked at that.
So they're
point.
testing your focus after they drag you through a lot of physical
you're never going to get into a firefight having
fresh.
just fresh.
Course,
so you're going to have some sort of level of physical or mental stress at that point. And then you do your 30 miler, which is like the sort of end point. It's actually where
that's what I hear a lot. The 30 miles, and that's where a lot of people break.
It's 7 hours. So you get
on rough terrain.
Yeah, it's over Dartmoor.
Yeah.
So you get enough time to do it, but it's like you don't stop. You're running along the flat and the downhills, and you're walking fast in the uphills.
Yeah.
7 hours to do it. Get in. If you pass it, you get that there and then. They basically bring it out to you.
What the Green Beret? So on the day, so as soon as you cross that finish line, so to say.
Yeah, as long as you've passed everything up to that point.
How many people did you see break on that 30 mile?
God, I can't even remember. I was hanging out through the whole thing. I was literally dragging my feet through the whole thing. Probably barely scraped through. But my twin went down and did it about 2 years after me. And
your twin brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he flew through all of it. He was a little bit older. He was much fitter than me. And he had then the knowledge that, if I'd done it, he was like 100% he can do it.
Yes. That belief.
Yeah. And so he flew through that. Whereas I like dragged myself through it. I had I was only 16, 17, so I was like my shins were smashed to bits. They were all, I had like the shin splints.
Yeah, I can imagine.
From just like not being
fully developed. Were your feet torn up like blisters and
feet smashed to bits, legs smashed to bits. When you join as a junior, they used to make you drink a pint of milk every day. So as a 16, 17
just to strengthen your bones.
Yeah, exactly. So they bring you out in front of everyone, and you'd have to, as the baby of the troop, stand and drink this pint of milk.
I think that's quite a good thing, actually.
I'm making the boys do that now. Yeah,
that's quite a good thing. Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's insane, man. So doing all that at the age of 16 and 17 and
it's mad when you look at, when I see a 16-year-old and I'm like, I can't believe I did that at that age. It's
the 16-year-olds nowadays are still playing fucking Roblox.
Yeah.
and getting upset that they've had the phone taken off them and whatever else. So yeah, there's one extreme to the other.
Yeah,
that is
there's a big difference, I think.
Big fucking difference. Tell us a little bit of childhood. Mum, dad.
Yeah.
What are they like?
Mum and dad, both paramedics in the same...
Both paramedics?
Yeah, in the same ambulance.
Oh, wow, okay. Is that how they met?
No, I think my dad was doing it beforehand, and then my mum got into it. She was a nurse and then got into that. And then 5 kids, me and my brother, sister.
So you and your brother were twins?
Twins,
and
yeah.
then
2 oldest, sister in the middle, and 2 younger brothers.
Okay, so you and your brother are the eldest of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
Mum and dad had 5 under 5. By the time they were 28.
Fucking hell.
I with 2, I'm hanging out.
Oh my God. Like, fuck.
They need a medal.
Your fucking parents deserve 5 of those fucking motherfuckers.
I know, yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
It's hard with kids, isn't it? Because I look back at that and I'm like, I've done all this stuff, and I'm like getting up for the 3rd time through the night.
Mate.
Like, this is hard.
Imagine having 5 of the little fuckers.
I know.
Fuck me. Oh, mate, give me anxiety just thinking about it. Having 5 screaming kids all at once.
I can do it.
Fair play to your parents. They still around?
Yep.
Awesome. Still together.
Still together.
Amazing.
Yeah, still together.
That teaches you a lot, doesn't it? Seeing parents still together after such a long time.
Yeah.
Any turmoil when you were kids, or was it quite a nice upbringing?
It was nice. And, we had, obviously with 5 kids, you don't have any money, so which is probably actually the norm for the majority of people, is that you've got one person working, one person taking care of all the kids, and then paramedics don't get paid that well, or didn't back then. So so we didn't have any money or material things.
How did that work? Because if they were in the same ambulance on the same shifts,
so when the 2 youngest brothers were like old enough to look after themselves, then they were like back on.
So they did days and then they were back on shifts.
Mum didn't work for the first few years because she was looking after us.
Busy making babies, exactly, Jesus.
Yeah. And they got then they got back in the ambulance when I'd left. Ross had joined the Marines, sister joined the Air Force, and there's 2 younger brothers at home, so they go back out to work.
Fair props to Mr. and Mrs. Kane.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And was school good for you? Were you a good kid? Were you bullied?
Do you know what? I'm only thinking about it now because my son just started school for the first time, and I'd obviously parked it. But it's kids are brutal at school, aren't they? And if you've got no money, they're even harder to you.
Back then, it's different today. Yeah,
I would definitely remember 4 or 5. I was not regularly bullied, but I was definitely if you go into sport. And actually, at the time, the teachers were could see it happening, but didn't do anything about it. I remember getting an absolute shoeing in PE once, and the teacher came in and just split it up, and nothing happened.
Carry on.
Yeah, carry on, because I didn't play football. So I'm not in that in crowd at that time. So fuck it, I'm going to join the Marines, I'll show you. Bullied for the normal things, not having any money, not having the right trainers. I remember actually one of my mates I've never said this before, one of my mates went to America. He comes back with the latest Reebok pump the basketball boots. Anyway, they didn't fit him, so he gave them to me, and I was like, fuck, I'm eventually cool. I've got these new trainers. So I turn up at school.
I know what you're going to say, go on.
Turn up at school and get absolutely hounded, then battered for having hand-me-down shoes from someone else in the same class. You can't win. But I mean, ultimately it was good. My upbringing with my parents and my brothers and sisters was mega. We spent a lot of time outdoors, which, that highlighted to me how important it was to be outside doing shit with your body, with yourself. I had zero interest in academics.
But when you say outdoors, what do you mean, camping, holidays?
Yeah, camping, hiking, all that sort of stuff.
So you did a lot of outdoor activities.
Yeah, and that's why I joined the Marines, because I was like, what can you do that travel, adventure, excitement, physical, not recognition, but physical, maybe a little bit of ego, how can you pass this hard course? And so I was into that anyway.
So your parents sort of subconsciously planted a lot of seeds there.
100%. And that was through necessity of not having very much money. So how do you get 5 kids out, go and camp somewhere and just let them run around in the woods? And
take some sausage rolls and
exactly some
go and
Greggs.
camp somewhere. Yeah, this is our holiday.
Yeah, and you know, we spent every summer Easter holidays just in a camper van, 7 of us. And the old school one, driving around Scotland camping.
In what kind of camper van, mate?
You know, the old school VW.
Oh wow, so not a very big camper van.
Tiny. I've seen
7 of
I just saw one a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "How do you get 7 people?"
Just
in there?
thinking that. Fuck, he must have been head to toe.
Yeah, literally head to toe. But I mean, you know, looking back, it was all for me. You know, living in a busy house, joined the Marines. That's busy.
Yeah.
You know, that worked. Being outside, exercising, doing all of that shit. I was doing it anyway. I just wasn't doing it to that level.
Yeah.
But once you join and you pass out of the Marines, you then have this like family of people that are all like at the same level. You can trust them. You can do. You know, you can pretty much trust your life on them.
Yeah.
And you're doing cool shit around the world.
Yeah.
Jungle training, mountains,
No,
Arctic, whatever it is.
Fair play. So that explains why you got into the Marines. So you passed at 16, 17. How did we end up becoming a sniper?
So that for me was like the end goal, because it was, you know, probably watching Tom Berenger Sniper or whatever these films are when I was a kid.
Okay.
And but it wasn't about like being behind the trigger, pulling the trigger, or any of that. It's like what sort of person do you need to become to be cutting around under your own steam or in a pair? You know, like courage in your own convictions, you know, confidence in everything that you've learned. And for me, the sniper course and becoming a sniper was like the tip of, you know, fieldcraft. Everything that you learn as a soldier, it's just like the next level up. So you have to pass a selection for it. So you have to go and do another 2-week selection thing. You pass or fail.
Was that a physical test?
No, it's pretty much like aptitude. They call it an aptitude. So you basically it's like a load of tests to test your aptitude as a sniper, whether it's shooting or memory, recognition, like all of the attributes that sort of fieldcraft, you know, all of the basics, but then you get tested at like a higher level. And then if you pass that, you get loaded onto the sniper course. And, you know, there's only probably 6, 8 at the time that would get loaded onto each course. And then that takes about probably 2 or 3 months to go through that whole syllabus. And that's everything from shooting to recognition of various different weapons and vehicles. Navigation's a big piece, stalking, all of that sort of stuff that you've probably seen in the films with people snorkeling around with ghillie suits on. And then eventually you get up to your badge test weeks, and if you pass all of those, then, you know, you become a sniper.
Talk us through those tests, those last few tests. And
so I'll see if I can remember it. You basically have, I mean, the main one is the stock, and there's been a few programs actually done on like the sniper course and specifically the Royal Marines one. People come from all over the world and all the different services to come and do that course.
To come and learn from
the Royal Marines. They're well regarded in that world of knowing and understanding like snipers and how to use them.
Yeah.
And so the badge test, you basically get trained all the way through up until your badge test week. And the badge test week is a selection of tests from like judging distance. You literally stand on a hill and get pointed 10 objects around, and you got to get within a certain distance of it, not using, you know, rangefinders and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Navigation.
So you got to, in your own mind, work out, I've got to be like 300 meters away from that and stay stealth. And
I would imagine that most people you speak to that don't work in like surveying or track and field, or, you know, like someone who's running up and down and knows the length of a football field, to say, especially now that we all drive around everywhere, is like how far 100 meters is, a kilometer, like how long does it take to walk a kilometer?
Yeah.
So that judging distance piece is obviously critical.
Yes.
And obviously knowing it within a bracket of how far.
With no instruments, no scopes to say you're 1K away.
Nothing. You use things like in your head, you might go, well, I know the length of a football field. That looks like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But there's all the other things that take into account, like
The size of trees.
the size of something relative to everything else round about it. You know, if that thing's much bigger than everything else, it looks closer. If it's if it's much smaller, it looks further away. If the sun's in your eyes, if the sun's behind you.
Okay.
So there's all these other little bits and pieces that eventually become intuitive as to like how to judge distance. Then you got all the recognition stuff. You know, you need to know all of your weapons, all of your vehicles, all of your comms kits, all of your rank badges, slides. So you do a test on all of that stuff. But the stock is probably the main one that everyone would focus on, and it's actually one of the harder ones to pass. So this is all out there. This is all open source. You know, there's a film, not a film, but like a series being made on it. It's all of this stuff. So you basically get dropped off here. You've got to get 3-5K down to a target, which is 4 blokes sitting on seats with binoculars that know exactly where you've been dropped off.
Right. Okay.
And you basically have to go from there to within 300 meters of them without being seen. Fire a blank round without being seen. Then eventually someone will come in within 5 or 10 meters of you, fire another blank round without being seen. And then they'll come in and put their hand on your head. And then they'll walk away after they've done that. So they know exactly where you are, and then you have to extract. That's it, kind of like the abbreviated version of it. So,
okay.
So that stock is putting everything into context for moving around and, being a sneaky sniper.
Pretty cool.
But I don't know. I'm probably a bit out of date with that because obviously the battlefield's changed a lot then, and drones, thermal, all that sort of stuff.
There's so much more technology.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it was just literally hiding from someone.
Yeah.
Whereas now, there's, I would imagine there's nowhere really to hide.
Yeah, all the thermal imaging they have these days. You'd have to be pretty fucking
Satellite
good.
images, all that stuff, I'm well out the loop on all that.
Yeah. Hey guys, quick one from our sponsor. DoNotAge.org is a health research organization dedicated to helping people live longer and healthier lives through real science. They develop and test ingredients trusted in clinical research, and they reinvest profits back into more scientific studies. Right now, their Black Friday sale is live, and it's massive, with savings up to £2,500 on specially selected bundles. So if you want to look as good as me and save money at the same time, now is your chance. So these sell out every single year, so get in quick and use code BEAST for an extra 10% off on top of your Black Friday savings. Let's visit DoNotAge.org today. Thanks for that. Now let's get back to the podcast. 16 to 19 then, or 17 to 19. Were you ever deployed, or was that just normal?
No, that was all just normal
training.
So
you passed the sniper at 19, and then what sort of happens in that downtime period? You've got no wars going on. You're just staying fit. You're staying active. You keep refreshing the training courses. When are you then deployed? What's your sort of first?
So I passed out and went to 40 Commando, and then I was on rear party. So they were in Northern Ireland. And I was on rear party because I was only 17, so you can't deploy until you're 18. So I was cutting around 40 Norton Manor camp for like, I want to say like 3 months or 4 months. Maybe it was less than that. Then Northern Ireland was like the first sort of operational tour that I went on, which was in 1996.
1996, you would have been 19.
No, 1996. So I was 94, 95, 16, 17. I was just before 17, just before 18. So on my 18th birthday, I flew out, which was, it was January 95, 96 tour. So,
okay.
So I basically went out there at 18, spent 6 months out there.
Was that a nasty war?
Nah, for us, no, it wasn't that busy. It was, it was all kind of ramping down at that time. So there wasn't lots on, it was 6 months of patrolling around oddly places that felt very familiar, because where I grew up is just across the water from Northern Ireland, so it was
Yeah,
it
okay.
felt super weird to me because you're
an hour from home.
yeah,
in essence.
you're cutting around, in streets and places that look exactly like being on the high street back home.
Yeah.
So we got back. So that was 6 or 7 months there, and then came back, and then nothing really happened. We weren't fighting any wars really anywhere. So in that downtime, you're always training. There's all sorts of stuff going on across the board. That's whether it's maritime operations, whether it's mountain training, Norway, jungle training. So
So you're always doing something to try and better yourselves.
yeah, you need to stay current, because it's the same as any skill. As like
Things fade.
Yeah, exactly. That skill fade is phenomenal. Going from like one rotation of jungle to not touching it in a year and going back again.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I put up my hammock? How do I do this? How do I do that routine?
Fair enough. So Northern Ireland was
yeah.
one deployment. When was your next?
So we did a big tour around. We left Portsmouth in 1997, and we did a big exercise called Ocean Wave. So it was the handover of Hong Kong, basically.
Okay.
The whole fleet went down. So all of the Royal Marines, all of the Navy, and essentially what we did was a big, I think it was probably a sort of show of force and get the ships down there. But we just spent the year doing jungle training. We were in and out all over the place. It was we were on ship. I was on HMS Fearless. Sort of came down in through the Med, all the way down through past India and all the way down into the Far East. So it was it's probably 6 or 7 months that we were on ship for, but jumping out doing various different bits and pieces. And then really, in the Royal Marines at that time, and I would imagine the military, everyone's just doing their training, and then obviously the obvious happens with the Twin Towers, and then that changed everything for the next 20 years.
Jeez.
That war on terror, and almost everyone in the military at that time was affected by it, whether they deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, or wherever else.
You done a tour of Afghan?
Not Afghanistan, no. I let out Iraq in 2003, and then I left pretty much straight after that.
Okay.
So
what was the worst war you've been involved with?
I've only been to Iraq in 2003. Northern Ireland is obviously, there was nothing happening at that point. So I would say, for me, it was that was enough for me to realize that everything I wanted to do was get in the Marines, become a sniper, not to go to war, but for all the reasons I said, travel, adventure. Then when I personally got there and was doing it and got back from it, I just thought, well, in a way, I was like, well, I've done that. That's kind of, like if I, the same quest for adventure that drove me into the Marines was then at this point pulling me out. And I also, was just very aware of how easily and quickly, shit can go sideways.
That was a very scary couple of years for you, was it? Like a lot of action, a lot of doing tours. Yeah,
I mean, for everyone, like I didn't go to Afghanistan, but a huge amount of my mates obviously have over the years, and Iraq, based on that, was next to nothing compared to what was then going down later on in Afghanistan. So for me, it was like I'd done 10 years, I'd gotten to that point, got back, didn't get killed. And I just thought, I don't want to be spending the next sort of 10 years, 20 years of my life doing that and dodging it. And that was actually really difficult, because I then, I was out, I was offshore, I was doing some really shit jobs, feeling pretty low.
What's a shit job? Just boring?
Yeah, shit job. So basically you come out of this brotherhood where you're like an elite amphibious fighting force, you're a Royal Marine Commando, you've got all this sort of like identity wrapped up in who you are. And then I left and then was completely like alone. Everything was then hanging on me to what I could do. I didn't have any ideas about what I could do or what I should do or what I wanted to do. Realised pretty quickly there was no jobs. There was, there was not a lot of pay for it. It was long, hard hours. It was graft. So the first job interview I did, I come from being a Royal Marine sniper to then going for a job interview up in Dundee, wearing a suit, like
Starting again.
Got shat on by a seagull all down my face and suit on the way into the
Got shat on.
by a seagull.
So a seagull shat on you.
Yeah.
On the way to your first interview.
And then I go into the interview stinking of fish and shit for a sales job, and they essentially made me panel of 4 do the birdie dance up and down in front of them, and
the what? The body?
Birdie, that
bird,
yeah. And I was like, fuck.
Really?
Yeah, and I did it. When I left there, I was so conflicted. I was like, I used to be someone. I worked this hard to get
my life, man. That's degrading.
I worked this hard to get that Green Beret there. I've done all this, been to war, done all the rest of it.
Country,
and then I'm being made to do the birdie dance up and down. Anyway, I did it, and that, because I was kind of caught off in the back foot, and that, I left this thinking of fish guts and bird shit, and also feeling like, what the fuck have I just done? And it was to get a job as a salesperson for gas and electricity, because I was like, I need to do something now. So I did it for like 2 months, but it's commission based.
You got the job.
Got the job.
Walked in with shit all over you, and
you literally had to get, I had no money to fill my car up. Peugeot 405. I had no money to fill it up. It was commission based, so I wasn't getting any commission.
Yeah.
But I was driving, like 100 miles, 150 miles a day, go to an area, go around knocking on doors, selling gas and electricity. I just thought, this is shit. And I'd had a run of like 3 or 4 bad days, and then this guy told me to F off at the door. So obviously I launched my clipboard into one, ripped my jacket off, launched that into someone else's garden, shirt off, threw that into someone else's garden, walked back to my car, chuntering to myself, and then realised I'd thrown my fleece over the fence into this next door neighbour's garden with my car keys in it. So I'm like, I'm already having a hard time, and then I'm like, I've just fucked this job as well, so I have to go back. Bear in mind, I'm wearing like a pair of blue work, like gas and electricity trousers, and no top and no shirt or whatever. Yeah, so I basically went and got the keys and then sacked that off. But
how long did you last in that job?
It was about 2.5 months. I never got paid in that time.
Because you didn't make any sales?
Shit at sales, because you're effectively, what you're doing is you're going to someone's door, chapping it. Like, you have to go and do this like 2-week training course where they teach you how to get into someone's house, pretty much against their will. Wipe your feet, point at the crotch, like step up onto the step. People move out the way. This is what they were teaching. Then you're into the house, and then you're switching them over gas and electricity to their supplier. So you're basically trying to hoodwink them, which obviously I couldn't do. It just didn't sit right with me. And I think in the whole time I was doing it, I converted one person who was looking to go over anyway. So I just thought, fuck, this is shit. And I think it
sounds shit.
Yeah, and that's like, the real story is when you leave an organization like the Marines or the Paras or the Army or whatever, you leave this big old safety net that is everything that you know. It's a lifestyle, it's your identity, it's everything, and then you leave and you're out on your own. So it can be quite a tricky time, and there's no clear path as to where you can go or what you should do or who to speak to. And so I think I basically fucked around doing lots of jobs that I was on the doors, which you wouldn't believe considering how small I am.
On the doors as in working security?
Yeah. I did a bit of that in some nightclubs in Glasgow, and then eventually got...
fuck me.
And I'm like, I'm not a scrapper.
And what era was this? Early 2000s?
2004.
Working the doors in Glasgow. I bet that was fucking fun. Tell me a little bit about that. Any cool stories? There's got to be some nasty ones.
I literally would... I would be on the inside. I wouldn't get involved in any of the scraps or anything because I was obviously tiny, but they were like well, yeah, there's no end of people wanting doorman jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to do it for like 2 or 3 months, but fucking hell, I didn't enjoy it.
You must have seen some nasty shit.
Yeah, the club I was in was pretty like upmarket. So the front row of security guys never let anyone in that, you know, and I wasn't there. Like I needed to be your size to be working on the doors there. Yeah. But that was while I was waiting for a application to go through for this organisation called Skillforce, which is teaching the kids in school. So I was basically dodging around doing shit jobs, not knowing what to do, and feeling really pissed off that I'd left the Marines at this point.
Yes.
They're all deploying to Afghan. They're all, you know, going and doing all the rest of it, which sounds really weird, you know, in hindsight. You know, you've obviously spoken to some people that've been over there.
So a lot of your friends are still in there and actively,
and they're you know, they're going over there and you know, and getting involved with whatever was happening there. So, you know, there was this whole piece of me that was like, should I be in there doing that? Should I still be staying in? And I don't know. I just kind of got you know, I've just been in the back of my head always been the outdoors for me has been like the place where I can, you know, I don't feel like stressed and that was still driving me and dragging me. So I was eventually trying to find my way into that. You know, I did the Skillforce thing for 3 years where it was effectively doing outdoor stuff with kids that were like a ball hair away from being kicked out of the entire education system for good. So they would collect, it's called Skillforce, ex-military instructors, collect up 30 kids from that year group that were all at that point, stick them in a class and then shut the door. And then we had like...
This is in Glasgow.
Yeah, Coatbridge, Bells Hill.
I mean, Glasgow, for people that don't know, is probably... we had Paul Craig on the other week. It's like the knife capital of the world at one point. It's like the most dangerous city in the world.
I think when you grow up there, you kind of, you know, you maybe you don't see it, but it's definitely, you know, like I know firsthand, my mum and dad would be talking about stabbings as paramedics, you know, in our hometown.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, wow.
So it's kind of where I grew up. But all these kids are, you know, they're chucked into one class. They've got me and, you know, the guy that I was with was a girl in Southern Highlander, RSM. So there would be like 2 of us in a class with all these kids, and then we'd be trying to teach them life skills. You know, like at that time it was how to write out a check, or, you know, like how to... it was, they had these modules basically. This
is pretty cool. So you ended up working for, I'm going to assume, a high school.
Yeah.
You ended up working for a high school with delinquent children that couldn't quite, you know, blend into normal classes, normal society. So they stick them all in a naughty class.
Yeah.
And then bring military guys in to come and try and correct them and do things with them.
And it's like, until I started it, you know, I didn't really understand the problem. And then you think, you know, there's a kid there who's getting thrown out of a class because obviously teachers have got this, they've got to teach. And if you're on too bright or the other side of it, or, you know, you come from a single parent family, your mum's been working, you've been left to fend on your own, you don't have dosh for the uniform, you're getting bullied, you know, there's drugs, and then before you know it, this kid is, you know, is coming into class late, and then they get a bollocking, they get thrown out, and they're only going to kick off.
Yeah.
So we get them, at this point, we you know, I did it for 3 years, I think, and it was super rewarding work, hard.
Yeah.
Because you've got 30 kids that want to square up to you like regularly. They want to scrap, and they're not scared of it. You know, they'll square up to you in the middle of class, knowing that you can't touch them. You know, but it's it was super frustrating. But
frustrating is the
but
right
actually
word.
you get to know them and all of their things, and you just think like they're being failed by the system. And like they're not picking up on things, and you know, you take that kid away and you take him camping, or you get them on an abseil, or you get them doing whatever. You see a different side to them.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine, and or they, you know, they want to open up about what's going on at home. Or so I did that for 3 years, but there was no progression. So at this point, I'm only 26, 27, 28, 29 something. And I was like, I can't do it. And also it was stressful. You know, you're like going into the class. And we were teaching in, it was like we were in Coatbridge and then we were in Bells Hill, Airdrie and Wishaw. And
Oh, so you've been dotted around different high schools.
yeah, so we'd do like 2 hours in this school.
Got you.
And then we'd bump over here and do a double period in that school. So we're doing
Okay.
3 or 4 double periods a day of taking all these kids together. And, but I still get messages now from kids saying what we did saved them.
I can imagine.
And
Jeez.
they just needed that chance and
Yeah.
you know, to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I was expelled from school, and we didn't have any classes or help like that. You know, you were just penalised. You know, isolation, detention, suspension, and then, you know, if you keep breaking the rules, you're expelled, which is what I was. And then, I mean, I'm sitting here now, I'm fine, but a lot of the kids, that's a big problem because it just causes so much future issues, doesn't it? We know
It's down the line that then happens, and we were trying to intervene just before they got expelled.
Yeah.
And then just to like try and bring like, I don't know, 20-30% of them back round into like mainstream education to like get them to push on and do you know, I would imagine loads of them joined the military after that.
Because of you?
Because of us, the guys doing it. But
that was pushed on me a lot, you know.
What's that? Join the military? Yeah,
Because I was expelled from school.
Yeah,
it was really.
It's mad when you think about that. It's like, yeah, you should join the military because you've been expelled from school. What? Go and get amazing leadership training and travel and adventure and like all of that stuff. Exactly, they should be pushing loads of people to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone's suited to it, but
it was probably the reason I went for the Royal Marines when I was 16.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, they used to say, you know, like if you're going to go to jail, you know, for something a minor misdemeanor, you know, it's like that, or join up.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I was very heavily pressured. From, you know, teachers would say it all the time. You know, when I was expelled, best thing for you is get in the army, learn some discipline, and then when you're at home, you know, you got parents like, what the fuck are you going to do? I'll join the army. Good. You know. So everything points to that a lot for a lot of these kids, because it's not so matter of of an easy career, but it's a career that's almost guaranteed for them.
Yeah.
It's something like you get into and they've got something safe that they can.
Yeah, and if you follow the system, you know, you'll come out the other side much higher than you were when you went in.
Yeah.
More leadership training, like all of it. It's just time. Like you get in, you follow a process, you get to the end, you get out, and then you do something else.
Yeah. I always find a lot of the army lads when they come out that they tend to be like just built differently in the head, as in not untapped, not, you know, what do we do next. A lot of them are very clever, and I think that the army drills a lot of self-discipline and like future thinking into them. A lot of them have started businesses. A lot of them go back and earning a lot of fucking money, and I'm like, geez.
I think it's probably more something like discipline.
Yeah.
Is it like, you know, there's a big difference between motivation and discipline. You know, you'll know this, like, you know, you can be motivated, but motivation wanes at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the quarter, end of the year. It's the discipline that gets you up every day and do the things. And like that example of joining the military and coming out then, let's say an officer from a ordinary rank, it's just a matter of time and doing the basics well consistently.
Yes.
That's it. Not trying to shortcut, not trying to, you know, get around the system. You know, but that, for me, that wasn't, I didn't want to be in for that long. But for a lot of people, that's suits them.
Yeah.
The only issue is that the longer you spend in it, the harder it is to sort of readjust when you get out. I mean, it's the same as anything, like sports people, Olympic people that have just done rowing and they've got the golds and they've done the Olympics and then they finish and then it's like lack of purpose. What do they do now? Depression, anxiety, you know, all the rest of that
I've dealt
stuff.
with all that shit after I won the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
It is a big question mark of what's next. And
do you get that? Because I only sort of realised that about 10 years ago, is that when I've been building up to an expedition, you spend a year doing it, getting all the shit ready, you do it, we row across the Atlantic, you get to the other side, and then just like...
Fuck.
Yeah, massive...
Life shit again.
Yeah, massive downhill.
I think one of the things that's kept me going is the goal setting. One of my goals very early on was to win the World's Strongest Man, and I chased that for 10 years. My mental health during that 10-year period was amazing.
Yeah.
Like super healthy, like, you know, because I was so driven. And I won the World's Strongest Man, and I would say within 3 months, I started suffering with anxiety and depression again before I started lifting weights. And a lot of it was you got no goal. You got nothing to focus on, nothing to expel all this built up tension and energy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you haven't, it just stews there and
round and
the
round.
cogs ticking.
You're on the edge of the incident pit where it's not like one thing that happens that makes you. It's just the continual, all of these little things, these little, like, I guess, blades of grass or straw on the back of a camel sort of thing that building up. And like with no way of releasing it or no pressure release or no pressure cooker, then that's certainly like when I've done the X-Beds, you know, I come back, I have a big crash of like motivation, like identity. This, you know, like all of these things, you know, and
everything resonates here.
Yeah, and you got another one that you're eventually looking for, but in this bit of time here, you're feeling really crap. And the thing that I've noticed that I do is I have to move, like whatever that is, try and
reset the goal, get another focus, another ambition. Yeah,
but it's hard though when you continually. Because I had 10 years of doing that. It was like the next one, you're chasing it. You're not paying attention to like what's going on in the minute.
Yeah.
Like you're doing these amazing expeditions, but all I'm thinking about is that one that's coming. Where does that kit need to be? What stuff do I need to do? The risk assessment, and you know, I'm sat in Suriname in this like unexplored river system, you know, and not paying attention to it because I'm too busy thinking about that down the line.
No, it's tough, man. It's tough. Life's a bitch in that respect, and I think it can be. I don't want to downplay anybody on this planet, but I think sometimes like a normal life, like having just a normal 9-to-5 job, I crave it now and again. You know what I mean? Because you can just do your job, come home at 5 o'clock and just switch off.
Yeah.
And
it is an affliction to some extent to be that, like I'm the same. You know, I rarely, you know, I don't ever just do a thing, come home, switch off. You know, if I don't have that, then I'm going down the wormhole pretty quickly. You know, and I need to stay focused on something, driven, working towards something. And even if I don't have anything major on, then it's like I'm still getting up in the morning, I'm still training, I'm still like spending time taking the dog out, spend time with the kids. As long as it's like something.
Yeah. No, I get you.
I think we're goal driven generally, people. I think if you don't have that, you have all the problems. You know, there's a lot going on in the world where people have way too much time to ponder it and go over it and waste time digging into it because they're not busy enough in their own life doing.
Yeah, no,
that's my opinion.
Completely agree with you. I think it's got its pros and cons doing what we do, as you know, chasing our own sort of projects.
Yeah,
constantly. Does having a normal job scare you at all?
Yeah,
it does.
100%. Yeah. I've never had one. You know, I was in the Marines. I dabbled in them. You know, when I did like a bit of the doors and skill force and offshore. I was offshore for a couple of years in between all of that. So I did them, but my brain isn't very good if I'm just in something and I can see like the pipeline is like 5 years, 10 years, and you know I can tell you what I'm going to have for dinner on that night and where I'm going to be in. That is not good for me. And lots of people are happy with that, and you know we need lots of people to be happy with that. But you know, for me, that's not how I am. I would be interested in seeing how, because we. Like, if you're similar, because we have made what we're passionate about into our work, you know, we're busy doing it, we're involved in it, we're speaking it, living it, doing it the whole time. I wonder what's going to happen very quickly when artificial intelligence, super intelligence takes a lot of these long-held beliefs away about what a job is and what security is, because
It's coming.
It's not only coming, it's coming faster than anyone can see it. And
Yeah.
the only reason I've been diving into it more is because I've lived a life of purpose, and I've been very busy and lucky enough and privileged enough to travel and make that my life. But if all information is going to zero cost, then a lot of the jobs that were once safe are disappearing. What does a nation, a world of people do that hasn't had time to have a purpose? I know this is getting a bit deep, right? But like we spend our lives being passionate about what we do, and I think there's lots of people who are so busy with work that will soon be gone. That don't have any passions or purposes or curiosities. I don't know. I'm getting my head into it.
No, it's a dangerous thought, and we've got young kids.
That's exactly why I've been doing it.
Yeah, and they're growing up in a world where there is going to be way too many people and not enough jobs because AI is taking over. Evidently, it's even to the point where the trucks are being driven by AI, cars are being driven by AI. Delivery drivers are being delivered by drones.
I think driving is like the biggest or one of the biggest trades on the planet.
Yeah.
You think of all the taxis, drivers, couriers, all that. And way more already out in the States as driverless.
Yeah. No,
cars,
there are Arctic.
I've never used them, but
Arctic wagons delivering, 40-ton loads using AI. It's quite scary.
But that's the reason I've got into it, is because my lads, I'm like, what world are they going to grow up in? What do I need to know now so that I can try and...
Yeah, they're going to be serving AI, aren't they? The only jobs left soon will be cooling the
data systems.
The data systems that powers them. That's probably
plumbers and electricians.
Yeah. No, it's a scary thought process. It does cross my mind. I mean, so many stuff nowadays. You have a question and you just put it in your chat GPT.
Yeah,
and I do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably the quickest onboarding of tech that's ever happened, faster than the internet and all the rest of it. But I just wonder, like for me, I know how much my mental health is wrapped up in being outside and moving my body, lifting, running, doing all this stuff. And I just think the more I spend plugged into something, the less happy I'm going to be, especially if I'm doing it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
another wormhole.
Another wormhole. You can dive into it if you want to, mate.
No, it's just, I mean, like I say, I'm literally just trying to catch up because I've got two kids, and like, what's going to, like, when they go to secondary school, what's going to be going on there?
Yeah, get shoveling that coal.
Yeah,
for the supercomputers to keep warm.
Exactly.
Nowadays, we're doing TV shows. We work with Bear Grylls. You've got your own documentary style series called The Wild Ones. How do we get into that? Because you started doing like the safety aspects behind the scenes for TV programs like the Bear Grylls and whatever else. How did that all come about? Because that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool job.
I basically got a phone call. So I was dodging around, working offshore, was doing rope access. So, you abseil down to a place in an oil rig, and then you measure the thickness of the metal using like ultrasound or magnets. It's really quite boring. It's a glamorous way to get to a shit job usually. But you work 2 on, 2 off, so you can work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And so I was spending that time going out to Chamonix climbing and paddling and doing outdoor stuff. And I got a phone call from someone at the BBC who asked if they had heard about me, that I was into ropes climbing, ex-military security, blah, blah, blah. Could I get a team inside an active volcano? I was like, yes. Because I was like, that sounds exciting. And it was in the Congo, so they were in the middle of having a bit of a scrap down there. There was still all the, I guess it was like 12 or 13 years after the big, the genocide that happened down in Rwanda, and all that trouble was still brewing. So it was basically like, take a BBC film crew, get them inside it, collect lava samples, and then come home. And I'm like, that sounds perfect.
So get them into an active volcano, during a civil war, war going on and get them out. Fuck. Okay. So you've somehow become the bodyguards and safety, keeping these people alive.
Yeah. So at that point,
for the BBC.
At that point, I had all the individual prerequisite bits. I was a rope supervisor. I was, I had all the security piece. I had, the ex-military piece. I'd never put them all together, and I didn't really know that anyone made television. I didn't watch TV, so for me it was like, that's great. So what, I get to go on an expedition and I get paid for it? And they're you just have to bring them all back safe.
So you got to do what you love. You get to trample through the forests, up volcanoes.
But I didn't know at the time that it was the convergence of everything that I'd done to that point in life. The opportunity came, and I had time to see it, process it, and take a risk. Whereas I think, for the majority of my life up to that point, I was so busy doing the thing, I wouldn't have noticed any of the the opportunities there. So we flew out to the Congo. I got them up onto the top of the volcano, and then I had a massive wobble because it's really scary. It's the biggest lava lake on earth, and the bottom of it, it's just horribly run out, rocky, dangerous, poisonous gases. Almost everything there was working to kill you.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then I was responsible for getting them inside it. So I remember getting to the top, and I was just mouth went dry, legs went wobbly, and I was just fuck. I've got 10 people here that are relying on me to get them inside. We've got hundreds of grand spent on the shoot, and I've bitten off more than I can chew. And
oh, jeez, man. Yeah, I can imagine that would be quite daunting. First job as well, jeez.
So I just basically broke it down, did things that I knew I could do, get the tents up, get the tea on, do this, and over the period of 12 hours, 18 hours, you start to calibrate to the noises that are coming out of it, and you're a bit more aware of it. Anyway, got them in, got them out over 2 weeks, and then I came back from there.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I've been inside that one near Congo.
So it wasn't just a case of get dropped off in a helicopter right next to it.
Nah.
Jump in, jump out. It was 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Getting through, okay, fair.
And all the hassle of being in that part of the world where people are sort of.
I'm gonna have a Whisper Gold, mate. Do you want one?
Go on then.
Yeah. I just got really packaged all of a sudden. My stomach rumbled, and I've just seen these on the table. There you go.
Cheers, dude. So we basically got them in, got them out. I'm obviously making it sound a bit simple, but it's quite a tricky set of operations to get in and out of an active volcano. But anyway, I came back and was light bulb moment. I was doing something that I was passionate about. It was outside, got paid well for it. I didn't even know that was an industry like TV, and it was right at the time when everyone's, TV was sort
what
of
year is this,
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when all the adventure space started opening up, and you've got Bear doing his thing, Bruce Parry. There was a load of people doing their things. And I just thought, how can I be the most valuable person to all of these people? Because I wasn't interested about being on camera. I was interested in doing the thing, looking after people, safety. So I just basically came back and that was my main goal. I just basically did a shit ton of courses. I was still working offshore. I was coming back. I was doing med courses, coming back, going offshore, come back, do kayak safety. I was doing, all of these courses that I could safety diver, that I could see that would.
So you were building up your business via getting all these skill sets, such as kayaking, climbing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And but then for me, I think what was, I wasn't asked back on all of these shoots. It was a slow process. I did one job 1 year, and it was 2 the next year, and it was 3 the next year. But I wasn't asked back because I was the best technical rigger or cave diver or what, all of these things. It was because of the commando mindset, commando spirit stuff that we talked about earlier, courage, determination, unselfishness. I'd be last to bed. I'd be first up. I'd take the shittest place to sleep. I'd make sure everyone had their, I was looking after people basically, running logistics, safety, so that they could then go and do their job. So that was 2010. So I've been doing that ever since, basically.
15 years.
Yeah.
Hey guys, quick one from me and a word from our sponsor, Huel. If you're like me and mornings are always non-stop, i.e. gym, emails, meetings, it's easy to skip breakfast. Instead, keep Huel Light and Huel Black Edition ready to drink on hand, and honestly, it is a game changer. Huel Light is the lighter choice, only 190 calories packed with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, and all the vitamins and minerals you need. It's perfect for a quick snack or light breakfast, and when you need something a little bit more filling, grab Huel Black Edition. Ready to drink, 35 grams of protein and around 400 calories. It keeps you going through the day without any crash. Between the two, you've got every kind of day covered. The light ones and the heavy ones. So get the brand new Huel Light and the best-selling Black Edition ready to drink today. New customers get £10 off with my code BEAST at Huel.com. Fuel your lighter moments with Huel Light, and now power through with Huel Black Edition. Now back to the podcast. And you did a number of jobs. When was the first time you were on camera then?
It was probably in 2012. It was 2 years later. So I then did an expedition series with Henry Cavill, Tom Hardy, and Adrian Brody.
What was that called?
Driven to Extremes. So it was them with Mika Salo, Ferrari driver, F1, and Neil Hodgson. Hodgie, do you know him?
No.
Motorbike racer. And so they were basically the three of them, the three of the Hollywood guys, had to drive like some of the hardest roads in the world. So Tom did Siberia, the what's it called? The main route over there in Siberia. So Tom and I in the production, the rest of the guys there, we did like 3 weeks there. So 3 weeks with Henry Cavill up in the deserts in China, and 3 weeks with Adrian Brody in Malaysia. So the first little bits of being on camera was on those, because I'm like safety advisor, medic, whatever, and they're sitting, should these guys do it? And I'm like, well, this is how they need to do it. So it was.
So you're like their dad.
Yeah,
for these journeys,
and and they were amazing. That was some of the first. I think it was the first time I'd actually worked with anyone who was famous, vaguely famous. But we got away and we did these epic expeditions with them. And every one I did was more like, I need to do more of this. How can I be more valuable to those people? And that's really. I've never chased being on camera. Like, I can take it or leave it. I don't care. Yeah. I like doing the job. You go and traveling the world doing.
It's like being out, traveling and adventuring.
And they swing the camera on you because if you can string two words together and you can make.
No, it makes sense. You're like you like. I mean, that's how Bear Grylls has done it, hasn't he?
Yeah, and all of the sort of that adventure space. All of these people doing it are not the people doing it. Behind each person on camera, me and the Wild Ones, there's a team of people doing everything. If you think what the person's doing on camera is difficult,
yes,
then you've got someone like Danny Etheridge or whoever, who's running backwards down the same cliff face with a camera, filming, changing batteries, putting a new card in the pissing rain, trying to keep his lens dry.
Yeah.
So anyway, I, even now I span across both, being on camera, but also like with production. I understand the production process, how it's funded.
Because you've been there and done it for so long now.
And the safety implications of something, you don't just say, we're going to change this because that's like 200 grand to change that part of the shoot. So I still span both from like production, safety, and then on camera stuff.
Wow. So they're all in one. Jeez.
Which means I'm probably not doing anything particularly well.
Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune, star in it, role in it.
Yeah, I'm not that level yet.
Yeah, so you're a Dennis Waterman of the.
But being on camera, it's all changing as well. TV's, the way people consume media is all changing. obviously, like YouTube, second most, if not the most watched streamer in the world,
more
and
than
the UK more than TV.
Yeah.
People are watching on different objects. The idea of when having to be in a Tuesday night to watch something at 9 o'clock, that's gone. So TV at the minute is really struggling.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you think back to when we were kids, there was 5 channels.
Yeah.
That was it. BBC One, BBC Two,
3, 4,
ITV,
5,
Channel 4 and Channel 5, and that'd be fucking it. Then you'd perhaps have the
bit of cable.
MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cartoon Network.
It's all, I mean, it's changing, and obviously jumping back to AI, this platforms dropping daily. They're obliterating entire industries. TV, not speaking out of turn here, I work in it, but it's a big, slow industry with people that have been in it for 30 years that aren't seeing the changes happening. And you've got some kid who's digitally native on a tablet or on a phone, that's going out shooting content
they're killing it
for 20 quid a month or something, and they're killing it. And so and all of that money is still there. People are consuming more media than ever before, but the money's not going to the channels like the traditional channels.
Creators.
It's going to the creators. So that whole model is changing. And there's probably a space for like the high end stuff that we've been working on over the years. But I think it would take a while for it to end up getting onto mainstream TV or YouTube. Maybe mainstream TV's dead.
I think it is. I think it is. I mean, even in my house, I watch Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and then the odd YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and that's about it. And
I think everyone's struggling. There's people. I've got mates who in Bristol that have been making high end, all the David Attenborough stuff. That are driving Amazon vans now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at this point now, it's like adapt or die.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I think. I mean, look, I've got a lot of friends in the YouTube world, myself included, and the thing is, I've done TVs. I've done my own TV shows, and I turned them down in the end because I was making so much more money doing my YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's so sad, isn't it? Because the TV stuff, in my opinion, was so much better, so much more entertaining, so much more watchable, but it's just on the wrong platform.
Yeah, and they're all scrabbling now, to get on there and ask the young creators, like, get them on board and get them to help them. But I think I put my first video on YouTube in 2013. But I haven't done anything with it. I literally like put 5 videos up and then left it. And then I went back about a month ago and I was like, shit. Missed the boat.
You've missed out on quite a bit.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely taken over.
Yeah.
It has definitely taken over.
I don't think it's going away anywhere either. People are consuming more. And there's and what they're probably pushing into, from what I understand, is fully AI native social media, where the videos and the content, like on TikTok, is AI generated. It's
well. I think they're actually. So I've had some emails and messages recently. So TikTok, Snapchat,
they're removing it, right?
YouTube, anything AI generated now, they are fucking removing it, and I think they're trying to future protect themselves, because before you know it, there'll be nothing but AI. Some little.
Well, that's why they're doing it, is because, from what I understand, they're opening. Each one of them is opening up their own AI native social media. Yeah. So that will only be
AI
digital content,
which probably will stamp all over the original creators.
I mean, exactly. Yeah. So who knows, man? It's changing times, but I've had a good run of it. I've been doing it 16 years, so I'm not bitter in any way. I just need to find out.
You've got to work it out. Talk us about this new series you're doing, The Wild Ones.
It's basically me, V, and Declan, the 3 on camera, are trying to find and film 6 of the rarest animals on Earth. So, and they're all rare or very close to extinction through poaching, habitat loss, encroachment of, like mines and that sort of stuff. So I've kind of like segued into conservation through my skills as being a Royal Marine. So it's like all the way back to, when I was 16. But a few years ago, I did some undercover work trying to expose the illegal wildlife trade in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
So, like,
what countries would that be?
Vietnam, Thailand, Laos,
Yeah.
all across there, but specifically with tigers.
Yeah.
So illegal tiger trade. So there are lots of places down there, and actually in Europe and South Africa are breeding tigers for that trade. So I was trying to I got in, did a bit of that, did an hour doc on that, and that kind of led into this one. So I did a James Cameron series exploring the ocean, submarines, all that sort of stuff.
Oh wow, you're part of that, were you?
Yeah, the Ocean X.
That's cool.
And then bounced from that to all the Will Smith stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth, and then bounce from that on to this stuff now, the wild one. So it's basically, I'm leading a team. We go into the jungle. We spend 6 weeks tracking tigers, and then laying out cameras, trying to get
using your sniper skills.
Exactly, tracking all the rest of it, trying to ascertain numbers and all the rest of it. So it's an expedition series at its heart, bit of adventure, all that, but it's really highlighting, this is quite a critical time for these animals that we talk with in the series. So it's on Apple TV.
Brilliant. Is that on now?
It's on now, yeah. I think it launched in July, August.
Okay. All episodes out?
Yep, all 6 are out there. So it's tigers, whales, Caucasian leopards.
Anything that shocked you doing that series?
I was shocked at how much sort of distance there is between what the official figures are of an animal and what they actually are.
As in, it's less than what the official figures are?
A lot of the time.
So when they say there's only 2,000 animals left on the earth, there's probably more like 1,000.
Yeah, there's a lot of them are conflated. There's, people don't want their country to seem like they're not doing anything to protect them.
Yes.
So there's, they might add up numbers and make them up. But actually, when you're on the ground, you're seeing that there's some of them, there's hardly any of them. Yeah. I think the Gobi bear, the official figure's 50 to 100 or something, but there's
wow.
There's probably less. You speak to the experts out there, there's 20 to 30.
Jeez.
Which is up in
That's
Mongolia.
Quite close. Yeah, it's close to extinction.
I mean, you start getting...
That's 20 bullets away from being extinct.
Yeah, you start getting to that point, and it's the gene pool isn't big enough anyway, so they're functionally extinct. The rhinos in Java, the Javan rhino, their population is so small on this tiny little island, sort of peninsula of the jungle, that there's, almost all of the rhinos there have birth defects like floppy ears or that sort of thing. So it's, even if they're not being poached for their tiny, tiny little horn, they're inbreeding anyway, and they'll be dead.
Yeah.
Extinct in 2 generations.
Fuck. Okay. What sort of things happening to the tigers and lions and in Thailand, and
tigers?
What's happening to that?
So basically, there are less than 8,000 wild tigers on Earth. They're predominantly in a part of Russia. They're in some parts of India, and then into Nepal and around it, all of that sort of cluster. There used to be 12 or 13 tiger range countries down into Malaysia, Thailand, round about there. There's more tigers in captivity than there are in the wild.
Oh wow, that's a statement.
I mean, in fact, there's more tigers in captivity just in the US than there are in the wild.
That's crazy.
But that's not the problem. The problem is that tiger is basically seen as a luxury item. It's not a delicacy. They're not being killed to eat or even their pelts anymore. Back in the day, you would have had a taxidermist do the rug, that you've got up in the wall or in the floor. It's not that anymore. So it's quite specific. Vietnam, they fatten the tiger up, they electrocute it or slit its throat. So these are bred in captivity from cubs. They're bred in someone's basement. They're fattened up. Wealthy businessman buys it. 2 or 3 of his mates will come round over the period of 3 days. They'll boil it down into a sort of packet fag size block of, essentially it's glue. Not glue, but when you used to say put the horse to make glue or whatever that saying was. So you basically make this tiger stock cube. It's in Vietnam, and then you and I come round to our mate's house, gets your tequila, mezcal, whiskey, whatever it is, and you shave a bit of the tiger off into your drink and you drink it.
Are you fucking shitting me?
Nah. So
they are fucking killing tigers, fully grown tigers, just so they can boil them down to a fucking OXO cube.
Yeah.
And shave them into a fucking tequila drink or whatever. Fuck, that is.
And they'll pay handsomely for it.
What's the method behind that? What's the thinking behind that? Is it taste nice, or is it
no?
Just
it doesn't taste of anything.
Just the fact that you're fucking.
This is purely a display of wealth and greed. But the problem is
wow.
that it's a massive problem, and it's global as well. So basically, that block of tiger glue, I don't know. I can't remember what the price is. It's more than cocaine for that size. It's like into the 30, 40, 50 grand mark.
Yeah, wow. If I've got a lot of rich friends, and if I went around to somebody's house and somebody tried to shave some fucking OXO cube tiger into my fucking drink, I would fucking slap him.
Yeah.
Very hard.
But over there, that's Vietnam. In China, it's different. The tiger product is, so they'll skin it, gralloch it, take the insides out of it, put it in a barrel of wine, like red wine, and then that will steep in there for 10 years or whatever it is. But you go to one of these wineries in China, they've got 200 tigers living in pens outside there, and they've got hundreds of, not thousands of these barrels of wine with tiger products in it.
So it's like a barrel of wine, and they put the tiger.
Imagine a big wooden keg that's full of wine, but also the tiger's in there.
Just like they take the insides out, clean them up, and then just drop a tiger in.
Yeah. And so it's like hooked through the back of its Achilles, and it'll hang in there, sort of like upside down.
And what's that do? Just make a tasty wine, or
bone fortifying wine, inverted commas.
Fortified wine.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Yeah, but that's a lot of those are captive bred tigers. Tigers breed really well in captivity.
Yeah.
It's illegal to do so against CITES and a few other regulations there. But the problem is that if you're really wealthy, you don't want the farmed tiger. You want wild Malay tiger where there's only 100 left. So you walk up a jungle ridgeline and you may find...
So it's like I don't want that shitty... I want organic.
Yeah.
This has to be... I want the best of the best. I want the organic OXO cubed tiger.
So they'll they'll send out a team of 4 or 5 poachers from Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, and they'll rig like 300 snares up the ridge lines, and they'll effectively they'll catch tiger that gets shipped, transported to wherever it needs to go, and then that very rich person then does whatever they do to it as wine or stock cubes.
Yeah.
So, but that's...
Is this something you've come across?
Yeah, I did that 1 hour investigation. It was on the BBC. It was called Tigers Hunting the Traffickers. So I was out there for like 3 months trying to uncover it. But once you start getting into the mid layer there, like you're going to end up face down in the Mekong River.
Well, I was about to say, where there's money, there's danger. Like, if you start stepping on the wrong toes, people go missing, as we know, for 20, 30 grand, if not less.
So
in those countries, a lot less.
So wildlife and environment journalists is probably the most dangerous job on the planet right now.
Yeah, more than war
correspondents.
If you're going to go and uproot their business.
Exactly.
Multi-million pound, billion pound business sometimes.
Some heading into trillions now. Yeah. So, so it's once you start getting into that mid layer, it gets really murky. But then, that tiger problem is, you've got all sorts of murky world that I wasn't really allowed to chat about on the film because it starts getting too political. But there's lion bones coming up from South Africa, getting because that's not illegal, up to Southeast Asia, and they're then getting sold on as tiger bone. So, and then there's tiger sanctuaries in various places around the world where that's they're just breeding tigers and sending it up to Vietnam and China, and Southeast Asia,
just to sell them for product.
Yeah. So what happens is they become a luxury product. Then when they're gone, they'll decide, okay, the next thing is clouded leopards. The whiskers from a clouded leopard are exceptional for getting a boner. This is 20 grand, blah, blah, blah. Right. So you then have another market which is made up to just exploit those animals. But I mean, it's if you think about global wildlife, illegal wildlife trade, like I don't know the figures, but you can make as much or more money from that than you can from drugs, and the penalties are like minimal.
Well, when you put it that way, you get caught with a kilo of coke, you're doing some jail time. You get caught with an illegal tiger.
Slap in the wrist.
Don't do it again.
Yeah,
you're completely right.
A lot of the places but it's this, you're talking about the same money. If not more.
That's interesting.
So it's pretty brutal, but, the series isn't that brutal when you watch it. It's adventure, action, conservation stuff, but, it's getting the message out there that, people should be aware more of like where stuff comes from. I would imagine the biggest problem in China, Southeast Asia, is the majority of people, middle class people that are, they're becoming more economically viable, so they want these products. They might not necessarily associate tiger, the cat, with tiger product. I would imagine in the UK, there's people that would not necessarily associate 4 chicken breasts with a hen. Or 2 hens if it's 4. What I mean? So there's probably a disconnect there with that stuff.
Yeah, no, I kind of get that. I mean, we all eat meat on a daily basis, and we just don't really care where it comes from, do we? Don't care about But I mean, there's all sort of moral compasses there, isn't there?
I mean, the other side of
we're slaughtering 30,000 chickens in one chicken farm a day. What's the difference? When you think about it in terms of life, what's the fucking difference?
We're just appalled by it because it's a tiger and not beef or something else. But the issue with it is that demand for farm products then has a demand for the wild products, the wild animals, which then it's a race to the bottom for extinction sort of stuff. So, but it's not that bad a watch. Actually, it's good.
I'm definitely going to check that out. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's good.
Anything else in that series that stood out for you? I mean, they're quite big ones, but you talk about they cut the horns off the rhinos.
So obviously rhino. I mean, all of it is driven by marketeers. It's the same as drugs and coming up with a new specific slant on a drug or whatever where you can then sell it, market it. What was interesting was that I'd never thought about was when we went to Armenia to film the leopards. We filmed a couple of animals down there that were missing paws. And Armenia and Azerbaijan have been at head-to-head fighting for quite some time, and they had a ceasefire of about 20 days, which is when we got into film. And we filmed bears, animals, cats, all with paws missing from the anti-personnel mines, which hadn't even crossed my mind that
the animals
suffer. And because you might lay a minefield with however many thousand, or they might 1,000 landmines, and they're just left out there.
You don't think about that.
And I think one of the big standout ones was we freed a whale, so North Atlantic right whale. There's only like 300 of them left, but they get killed by ship strikes, ships hitting them, or wrapped up in fishing gear. And we found one that was swimming around wrapped in fishing gear, like she was basically sort of 2 months away from dying. It's a long, slow sort of death. We managed to get her all unhooked, the rescue team, get her all unhooked and get her set off on the way over a couple of days, which was like
nice,
good, wholesome watching.
Wholesome, rewarding.
But it's good. It was a good series. And then we just finished pretty much the edits done for Arctic Adventure Ultimate Survival, bit of a mouthful, that be coming on Channel 4 probably in New Year, January. And that's that 500k.
Oh yeah, let's dive into a little bit of this, because you do some fucking mad shit as well.
I mean, when I was in the middle of that, I was thinking I'd rather be rowing across Atlantic or climbing Everest.
Let's be clear here, you did a 500k ultra across the Arctic.
Me.
In how many days?
10 days. So 50k a day, which doesn't sound a lot, but like it knocks up.
Of fucking course it does, Jesus.
There's me, Jason Fox from SAS on Channel 4, Carl Hinnett, who got blown up in petrol bombed in Iraq. It came in through the top hatch of his vehicle, set him on fire.
Oh.
He was inside it, and there's that really brutally famous photo of that soldier climbing out the top of the weapon turret on fire.
That's him.
That's him, yeah. And Brian Wood, MC, who... So between the four of us, we were going to go up there and do this Arctic Ultra to raise money for SAFA, the Soldier Sailor Air Force Association. So basically raising 150 grand for them, but we were going to do this 10-day race, and it was really just so that the four of us could get out, do what we should all be doing.
Yeah.
Like chatting shit, doing hard things, like dealing with all the baggage and demons that you've built up over the years.
Yeah.
But then Channel 4 got wind of it, so they they sent out a film team.
So you were going to do this anyway, and then just so happened somebody got wind of it and decided to film it.
Yeah.
Okay. And when's this out?
I think it'll be January.
Any standout moments for you in that? Any moments you're like, fuck, I'm in trouble here? Or...
It's the worst thing I've ever done.
Really?
Do you know why? Like when you're climbing a big wall, or you're in a submersible, or you're like in the middle of a really scary like narco encounter in the jungle, you're so in the zone. You're in flow, right? You're doing the thing, and you don't know, you're not potentially aware of all the decisions you're making. It's just like everything's flowing and you're dialed. That was just like really long, really boring, and really slow. So it's the worst for going into yourself. So rumination, just like thinking about your life, thinking about all the shit things that you've done, thinking about all the opportunities you could have had, and even though the four of us were doing it, we were spread out over quite a long distance. Some of these frozen lakes are like 15 miles long.
Yeah.
You don't speak to each other for 4 or 5 hours, and you just
plod on,
just head down, plod on in a wormhole. But I damaged my Achilles on like day 2. I dropped right back.
Oh wow!
Like half a day, 3/4 of a day behind them. So I was on my own. I think what was interesting was that I spent the next day and a half trying to work out how I could exit, save face, and lie about. I was basically looking for an excuse. I was looking how I could best pose it to the lads that I was actually injured and I wanted out, and and it was like a moral argument that I was having with myself, because I really wanted to sack it off. Like it was incredibly difficult. I was really struggling. I was missing the boys, and I couldn't really see past the end of day 3. Never mind going for another week and a day on top of it.
Yeah.
Because I was that in pain with that sort of miniature rupture or whatever it was.
Jeez.
Anyway, I dropped back, kind of body adapts, and the next sort of day and a half, my sort of leg turns around. Like I don't know how it works, but basically my leg sort of ended up sort of pointing out to the right, which took the pressure off the Achilles.
Okay, so you just found your body adapted and found a way to carry on.
Still suffering from it now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Bastard.
All that cold as well. That must have fucking hurt.
So down to about -20, -30, but I think ultimately the film is about male mental health, like positive mental health, like go out, do hard things, talk about the shit that's on your mind, deal with it. Like don't bottle it up. And they're obviously all dealing with, some fairly chunky stuff over the years of whether it's, PTSD or, whether it's dealing with, obviously all the trauma that goes with war fighting. But like sort of saying it's simple to get on top of it, at least to get a baseline, go out with mates outside, do hard stuff, and talk shit through. So that's
sounds nice on paper.
Yeah, but I mean,
looks nice on paper.
It was miserable actually. Yeah, and one of the final shots is me having a full blown turd at the side of the road, which I was like, I didn't need to be in there.
Taking a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But it's, I think it'll be good. So that's kind of the last thing.
So the ending's
the last thing I've done on TV is me having a dump at the side of the road.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of the end of that run of filming and stuff that we've been doing. So
the Narcos thing you did, where did you go for that?
The Vrime Valley in Peru, where the majority of it's made.
Colombia, is that near there?
That's in Peru. Yeah, so it's like on that part of...
So what did you do for that? You went and investigated how it's made, where it's made, how it's transported?
Everything from the coca leaves and the heroin, where it's grown, all the way through to the bodies getting emptied out of bags in Mexico of the people who had sort of involved with the trade and all the rest of it.
Fuck, Aldo. You talk about putting yourself in a dangerous situation. That's probably more dangerous than going out to Afghan.
That's the most dangerous thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like we did a month in Peru, a month in Colombia, a month in Mexico. I was genuinely worried for my life a lot of days out of that. You're going to a meth lab to film X amount of £1 million worth of meth getting loaded into a wagon and sent across the border. Or, you're interviewing and spending time with Pablo Escobar's head hitman. Like with him going through the barrios, if we'd gone into there on our own, we would have been killed.
Yes.
But the atmosphere, the atmospherics of being in there is like, you're not welcome.
Well, of course, fuck me. You're any kind of exploitation of what they're doing.
Yeah. But it's weird, we were in Sinaloa with the Sinaloa cartel there, and we managed to get an interview with their sort of security team, and we got rumbled by the Mexican Marines. We were press, we have press badges, but we were going to end up in the middle of a massive scrap between the Mexican Marines and them, and they're like heavily armed. So, and the whole thing, you're following it from being made in the jungle to transported on foot. And then it gets into Colombia as well, distributed Mexico out to the world, and pretty much every day there you're dealing with sicarios, dealers, all the way down to the young guys who've been extorted into it. Their parents and family have been,
it's their living.
It's and so really it was just telling the story of that like chain all the way through to until it gets to wherever. But it was pretty hairy. Of all the things I've done, that's the one thing that I wouldn't do again.
Yeah.
It's just there's
too much money involved. And when there's money involved, the people go missing.
Yeah. And they do not care.
Yeah, of course they don't.
They
don't give a fuck if you've got 5 kids or whatever. You're a fucking dot on the wall that's going to ruin their business.
And we saw that so many times, and it was like, I came back from that actually, and Foxy was taking a piss at me, but I came back and I was like, I need to do like something to fucking sort my head out because I'm on edge. So I went and did a 10-day cooking course in London, just like literally learning how to do bechamel sauce and like salads and
just adding to your skill set, man. You'll be cooking for the crew next time you're out on set.
Like totally defrag.
How's mental health for you? I mean, you've had a hell of a life, Royal Marines, that's some of the toughest scenarios in the world. Going and doing these extreme challenges and looking after people, the stress levels must have been through the roof. And we've talked about having the highs and lows. You have these projects, you have these massive successes, you have these massive rush of endorphins, and then the next day, what's next? How do you deal with your mental health?
I didn't for years. I just sort of parked it, got on, did the next thing. And then I suppose the first time I was aware of it was, I suppose, after Iraq in 2003. I didn't have any, there was no standout things that I did or saw that I thought, that's horrendous, I can't deal with it. But it was just like all of the things that aren't normal to see in normal everyday life. At war, that's normal, but when you come home, that's not normal. So I thought, I'll go and speak to, like, I had no precedence for this because it was 2003. I was like, who do I like speak to? Who do I speak to make sure that I don't end up a pressure cooker in 20 years time? So like I mess around speaking to like different types of coaches and therapists, and that ended up speaking to this guy who was like, that's where it clicked. I just basically unloaded like pretty much all of my life up to that point. Not because of any one specific reason. It was thinking about me, Aldo Kane, down the line at 45 that I did it. And so I think at that point I realized the power of talking and being outside, exercising. That sort of meant that I then had a sort of protocol, I guess, for dealing with it. You know, like when I came back I was down in West Africa during the Ebola outbreak for 3 months.
Fucking hell.
Down there filming inside ETUs, Ebola treatment units, and like it was brutal. You know, you're seeing hundreds of people dying in a week. Some people that you've been filming with all week, and you know, it's at one point me thinking that I had Ebola. So, like, you know, and dealing with these stressful times. But actually, what helps is, you know, I was coming back and then making sure I was talking to everyone who wanted to ask about what I was doing, why I was doing it. And so talking, but then also for me, non-negotiables for my mental health. I found sort of very quickly after being locked in a nuclear bunker for 10 days in the dark for an experiment for the BBC. And a long story cut short, so no one else needs to do it, is that when you're on your own in the dark with nothing to do, it is not good for your mental health. So from that, I took exercise, daylight, nutrition, sleep, like all of those things were like rammed in my face as like that's super important for having like that baseline. So for me now, like resilience, being able to go back and do all of these jobs is about making meaning in the moment. Like that thing happened, that rock fell, hit that person, this is bad, but I did what I could at that time. Like we had that kit, we did this thing, we got them out on this time, that's all we could do. So making sort of meaning in the moment helps down the line deal with, you know, things that might come back and bite you in the ass. But like non-negotiables for dealing with my mental state on a day-to-day basis are training every single day. Pretty much, as in I'm not lifting anywhere near what you are, but I'm doing something every day, even on off days. I'm like 4 mile walk with the dog or like a run, or I'm just active. I've got a bias to action so that I'm just using up all that energy. Been trying to get my sleep good for the last couple of years, which is blown out the fucking water with having 2 kids. But like trying to prioritize that over everything else.
You ever suffered with anxiety attacks?
I've had one, and it was inside the same volcano at the bottom. I essentially talked myself into panic. I abseiled down the very last 80 meters, got to the bottom, world's biggest lava lake over there. I tried to get to that point the year before and it erupted, and it would have I was like 5 minutes away from being vaporized. I didn't abseil down the last bit. The lava washed over it, and so I came back a year later and abseiled down onto that lava that would have wiped me out. And then I started like feeling my legs getting hot, and I knew from the carbon dioxide, when it fills the low levels, like your legs get hot because your skin can't breathe. So I started to then go, fuck, you know, I'm in the bottom of this volcano. It's hard to explain to someone who hasn't been there, but it's a very all-consuming feeling because it's everywhere. The noise, and I'm on the same level as the lava lake. The noise, the smell, the gas. It's like when it's popping these bubbles of lava, you know, the shit landing all over the place that could wipe you out. So I kind of ended up talking myself into a bit of I've never really had that before, but I could feel it. I could just feel my chest tightening, and my eyes were obviously like the focus. My pupils are dilating. I'm like legs shaking, and I'm like, fuck, I have to climb back out of here. And I started feeling just really like shaky and weak. Anyway, so I just started talking to myself. I was like, get back to the rope, because if I spark out here,
You fucked.
no one's coming to rescue me.
Yeah.
And if I'm on the rope, at least someone can try and pull me up on the rope. So I like got back over onto the rope and like obviously shaking and shit myself and like talking to myself, giving myself instructions as to what to do. Put this on, you've done that, do the carabiner up, do this, do this, do this, do this. Start to climb. So that's the only time, you know, it probably only lasted sort of 10 or 15 minutes, but I think in that situation it was kind of warranted. But in those times when it gets close to that, I sort of do two things. I either breathe or I talk to myself in the third person. So
as in vocally say it out loud,
Yeah.
or just in your head? So you vocally talk to yourself.
Yeah, out loud. When I'm scared or I'm incredibly dialed and focused and the outcome could be potentially catastrophic, then I talk to myself in the third person out loud, because that it kind of cuts the noise out, and you as a person kind of accept the information that's coming in.
Yeah.
There's no like, what about this, what about that? It's like, get that bit and do this thing, do that now, and you kind of just like follow the instructions, because when you get that scared, your prefrontal cortex like sort of shuts down, so you go into this like fight or flight mode.
Yeah, not knowing what to do.
You don't know what to do. Like it's very difficult to speak because you're going down into like monosyllabic. Your body's all processing, ready for fight, flight, freeze, or fuck, or whatever it is. But you know, you're all of the systems are giving you all this like adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol to be able to do something. And if you just stood there, like it's the worst thing. You know, you can't actually metabolize those hormones out of your body. So you need to actually like do something, give yourself some commands, and then control with the breathing.
Good tools.
Yeah,
Good
free.
tools.
Free, yeah.
Free and good tools. So exercise, breathing, and talking to yourself are your tools. You ever done any cold therapy?
I've got an ice bath at home, but it's set at 10 degrees.
Oh, that's not very cold.
Nah, I don't need
10
it.
degrees is like the minimum.
Yeah,
Do you use that often?
yeah.
How often?
Probably 3 times a week. I use the sauna more.
Yeah. You got a sauna at home?
Sauna and
Nice.
ice bath. So I'll try and do is use the sauna and then the ice bath. But I'm often using the sauna before bed, and if I use the ice bath, I'm up for hours.
Yeah.
Like wild.
So a good tip, so I do a lot of hot cold, is always finish on the hot.
Yeah.
And then you sleep like a fucking log.
That's what I've made it. I've tried like the ice bath on its own, then it's hot, then cold. But either way, I'm finishing cold, and then I'm freezing in my bed, and then I'm awake.
No, that's really bad. So if you finish on the ice, always have a hot shower afterwards.
Yeah.
Always, just get that core temperature back up.
Because with the cold is good because it just like if you just need a reset.
Yes.
Like if I'm getting up to London for the day, I'm not getting training in. Say for example, then I'll just get in the cold.
Yeah.
And then that's just like reset.
I had a chiller fitted in my attic, so I've got a cold water tank. So I've got a normal hot cold valve and then a cold valve.
Ice.
And it comes out at 3 degrees.
Oh shit! I do the cold shower every morning, but it's that, you know, whether there's health benefits or not, it's just because it's difficult. I just do it, and I'm like, let's do it.
There's a lot of thought process behind it of like you creating huge amounts of stress.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, as soon as you get up, and then the rest of the day feels fucking easy compared to that.
Yeah, because I mean, being in a cold shower is miserable.
It's fucking miserable.
I hate it.
Yeah, no, it's not nice. You know, I mean, I did mine this morning, and it 2 minutes. I stand there for 2 minutes, and I'm turning blue.
Life. Yeah,
I'm turning fucking blue. And then I get dressed, and I go for my walk, and still warming up by the end of it. You know.
Yeah.
But I notice a difference. If I don't have my cold shower, so I have my cold shower. You know, I'm dead. I'm nice. I'm energetic. You know, I'll kiss and cuddle my kids. I'm like, morning, how are you? Have a great day.
You got the dopamine hit.
Yeah. Versus when I don't have the cold shower, fucking morning, everyone. Makes such a big difference.
Yeah, I get that as well. Which is why it was bad doing it before bed, because I was like wired before bed.
Yeah, you almost, the thing is with the cold at the day, you almost need to have had such a shit, horrible day.
Yeah.
For the cold to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise sometimes you can be a bit.
But all of the stuff that I do is like, for my mental health is none of it's expensive. Ultimately the most bang for buck I get is going out with a couple of mates.
Yeah.
Either having pints, go for a walk, like do the thing, stay on top of my exercise, make sure I'm eating all right, all the basics.
Your kids 4 and 1?
4 and 1.
Are you with the mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that, mate? Being a dad.
Uh,
After all you've been through, you're now a dad. Does it change your outset on life? Do you not take risks as much?
It hasn't changed the risk part of what I do, because I never took outweighed risks, if you know what I mean. The Narcos I wouldn't do, but everything else I would definitely do it. Like, I haven't changed my outlook and perspective on risk, but it has made me much more aware of mortality.
Yeah.
Like, because I was 42 when I had my first, and 46 last year, so 45, 46 when I had my second. So I'm suddenly thinking I've now got these like meter sticks or markers that it's like, when I'm this age, they'll be this age, or when they're that age.
Yeah. That's what you do, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's made me pay a bit more attention to what's going on. Like, we're talking about AI and like what schools look like and that sort of thing. But I love it. I just took Atlas into a cave last weekend. Took him in, just me and him. Took him to the back of the cave, switched the head torches off. Just complete quiet. It was like, don't talk for 2 minutes. We just sat there, and that's
cool.
Like, it's quite anxiety creating for someone who's maybe not used to that. But it was more just like this: get out, do stuff, move.
Yeah.
And this is silence. This is like. So I'm rediscovering a load of stuff that I had long parked, as in like just doing fun stuff with the kids, having fun. Yeah. I love it.
Good.
And I'm glad I left it until I was later, because if it happened 10 or 15 years ago, I think I would have been a shit dad, because I would have been focused on me.
Everything, I would say everything happens for a reason in life.
Yeah, yeah.
Always take things as they come. Never have any regrets. Do you have any regrets?
None.
None at all?
Nothing.
You'd go through life again?
Yeah.
No big mistakes?
I mean,
Nothing
like first marriage down to Swanee, all that stuff, but
You don't regret it?
I don't regret any of it, because which is probably why in a lot of respects I'm reasonably well adjusted for all the things that I've done, is that I control what I can, and I'm very aware that I have control over next to nothing. My mindset, my attitude, that's it. So I think really everything else that's happened, I've obviously done the best I can at that time, and I made that decision or that decision because I thought that was best for me at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't have any.
If you could talk to a 15-year-old, 9-month Aldo Kane right now, go back in time and give him some advice, what would that advice be?
It's all going to be all good. I'd probably, I think at that age, you don't really think too much about what's down the line, and I think, I'll probably be careful what you think about, because it becomes your reality. That's whenever I do talks with kids, I'm like, whether you are thinking about the thing consciously or subconsciously, it's in your thought processes, so it's going to happen. And I was thinking about joining the Marines at the age of 12. By the age of 19, I'm a sniper in the Marines. So it's like, be careful what you think about.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you the typical question everyone asks someone that's been a sniper. Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, I've definitely fired my weapon in anger. Yeah.
In anger?
Well,
just from what you've seen.
Just the phrase of firing at war. Yeah.
Okay. Anything you regret there, or was everything
at the time
as it should have been?
Yeah, everything was as it should have been. At the time, that's what I was there to do. So, I guess what I didn't know at the time was the bigger political piece that was going on, and I wonder, a lot of the times fighting for queen and country as it was, or king and country, or anything like that. You've joined an organization, you go to war, and you're then fighting for the blokes that are standing left and right of you. For me, there wasn't any big ideals or anything else like that. I suppose it's only in the last, since coming back, that you realize that there's a much, much, much bigger picture that's played by politics, by government, by finance, by banks, by organizations. I mean, it's I suppose when I was a kid, I just think it was just like good versus bad, but that's not the case.
Aldo, your life has been fucking extraordinary, so full of adventures, and it sounds like it's just getting started with your two little ones as well, mate. What's next for you?
I think, I've just had 5 years of maybe 6 back-to-back expeds, James Cameron stuff, Will Smith stuff, the wild ones, the Arctic stuff. So, like I said, TV is slowing down massively. So I'm kind of at a point now where I'm sink or swim with the TV stuff, and I've been pushing a lot into the corporate speaking and leadership sort of world. So I think that's where I'm going to be pushing my main effort over the next, I need something for the next 10 or 15 years.
So this is like your retirement plan is to slow down and start doing inspiring speeches. And
yeah, I mean, I missed Atlas being born, and back then I was like, that's fine. But the more they're growing up, the more I'm like, I don't have a long time left with them. Not morbidly, but if you spend 75% of your time with them at the time they're 12 or 13, whatever the stat is, that's mental. So I should spend the next 10, 12 years making sure they're priority.
Did you say Atlas?
Atlas, yeah.
That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Atlas and Aurelius.
Nice.
So I think my priority number 1 is them, but number 2 is I would like to use my experiences of the last 30 years to help other people, motivate other people, inspire other people to basically be better.
Well, you've inspired me a little bit today, mate.
Thank you, mate.
No, thank you. You've been amazing, man. It's been fascinating sitting here listening to your
Thank you, mate.
Your story, mate. Absolutely incredible. From a young boy wanting to become a Royal Marine to then being a sniper, then going on all these expeditions and becoming a father. It's great to see, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Fascinating to hear your story. I'm going to go and check out the wild ones.
Yep.
Do you sell any merchandise or?
I need to get my finger out, man. I'm so behind the curve. I need to update my YouTube channel and get some merch on the go.
Where can they follow you?
Just at Aldo Kane on all the Instagram.
On Instagram. Right, we'll put that on the handle now. Anyone listening in, go and follow Aldo at Aldo Kane. But I just want to say thank you, buddy. It's been a pleasure listening to your story, and I'm sure everyone listening in will have learned a lot and taken away from that today. So thank you.
Cheers. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Much. Thank you.
Now I can eat my whisper.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Aldo Kane, from a young boy just loving adventure to becoming a Royal Marine to then traveling the world and doing what he loves, which is adventure and thrill seeking. Absolutely inspiring. I'm going to take a lot of lessons from today, and I hope you enjoyed listening, watching, and whatever you're doing, keep being amazing, keep being awesome. I'll see you next time. Big love the beast.